Good afternoon, everyone. It's very nice to be here. I'm glad to be here. I came here last year, and it's good to be here again this year. The Babies Can't Wait program. This is the Babies Can't Wait. This is Georgia's Part C program. Every state has a Part C program, and each state is named something different. So it's kind of difficult for some people to kind of navigate from state to state. But this is Georgia's Part C program, and it is the public early intervention program. Georgia Part C is governed under Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This is the legislation that provides funding to states to provide the early intervention program. The Infants and Toddlers with Disabilities program of the Act addresses early intervention services to infants and toddlers and typically is from birth until 3 years old. Some states do provide services birth to 6, but for Georgia, it's birth to 3, and it's actually birth until the day before the 3rd birthday. So that on that 3rd birth date, they will be transitioning to either Part B or to other services. And if you have any questions, please stop me. It's very informal. Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, it was created in order to diminish the services that may be needed in the public school system. So our goal is to get in that home, work with that family and that child early so that they're not going to need special education services once they get into the school system. The mission for Babies Can't Wait, or the mission for Part C, and this is Office of Special Education has provided the mission for this program. And it builds upon and provides supports and resources to assist family members and caregivers to enhance children's learning and development through everyday learning opportunities. A lot of families, or a lot of people think that we're just therapy. But no, we're not about just therapy, but we're about supporting that family in everyday learning opportunities to help that child develop and grow to its highest potential. We have about 5 major steps in Babies Can't Wait. First is going to be the referral process, which includes the intake, and that intake is talking about where that child has been seen, what services that child has received, the family's priorities, and then thinking of things that may can help that child grow and develop. The evaluation and assessment is where we look, if it's an evaluation, is we're determining if that child is eligible for the program. We look at 5 areas of development. We're going to look at their cognitive skills, that's problem solving and thinking, their social emotional skills, their adaptive skills, what they're able to do for themselves, their motor skills, which includes their fine motor and gross motor, and also their communication skills, which is their receptive and expressive language. They have to show a significant delay in one area or a moderate delay in 2 areas to be eligible for the program. But we will complete the evaluation to determine if the child is eligible. And once we determine if the child is eligible, then we're going to do an assessment. So we're going to look at the family home, we're going to look at the evaluation, we're going to look at the services that the child could benefit from, and just do a total assessment on what does this child need and what can we do to help the child. And then we're going to develop an individualized family service plan. That's our roadmap for Part C. Everything that we do is in that plan. And so that plan is telling us where that child is developing now, what the goals are for the parents for the next 6 months to a year, and then strategies and activities to reach those goals. And then we're going to look at the services that the child could benefit from to reach those goals. And then at the very beginning, we start talking about transition, because we only have those babies for at the most 36 months. And that's if we get children at 0 months, when the child was born. And typically our babies that we get right at birth are babies that are diagnosed with Down syndrome or spinal bifida or something like that, but we get those children very early. But we start talking about where would you like for your child to go once they leave Babies Can't Wait. So we start talking early, start putting steps and services on the IFSP to help us reach that goal, so that when that child turns 3, it's a smooth, seamless transition, that the child's going to continue to receive services, that there are not going to be any gaps in services. And I've already talked a little bit about this, but the eligibility for Babies Can't Wait is from birth until 3. We're doing evaluation on the baby. We're going to have at least 2 providers from different disciplines to look at that child. So we may have a early interventionist that look at all 5 areas of development, and then we may have a speech therapist that's going to look at specifically communication skills, because we want to make sure that we have someone that has the area of expertise looking at that child to see if that child is eligible for the program. And again, I said we have 2 categories of a child can be eligible. Category 1 is a confirmed diagnosis such as Down syndrome, spina bifida, hydrocephalus. Or category 2 is we don't have a confirmed diagnosis, but we need to determine if the child has a significant developmental delay. And again, significant meaning a significant delay in one area or a moderate delay in 2 areas. Any questions so far? Okay. To go into a little detail about the individualized family service plan. Again, this is a document that's going to guide the services and guide the family through the Babies Can't Wait program. It contains information about services necessary to facilitate a child's development and enhance, and that's our main priority, is to enhance, to empower the family to know what's available in the community and to seek out those services for their child. Because we know, a lot of families, once they leave Babies Can't Wait, because every child that comes into our program, they're going to have a dedicated service coordinator. And so that service coordinator is going to be there with the family to help coordinate the services for that child. Once they leave Babies Can't Wait, many of them are not going to have that service coordinator that's going to walk them through every step. So we need to empower our families to know what is available, and if they don't know, how to get that information and to get those services that are needed. Okay, we have several services that are at no cost to the family. This is not just a free program, but we do have services that are at no cost. Child Find, which includes the referral process to determine if that child is eligible, that goes into our Child Find process. So that is at no cost to the family. To do the evaluation. Now, we will bill their Medicaid if the family gives us permission to bill or to use their personally identifiable information in order to bill their Medicaid. If they give us that consent, then we will bill their private insurance, their Medicaid, but we do not bill their private insurance for that referral process. That means determining eligibility for Babies Can't Wait. To write up the plan, which is called the Individualized Family Service Plan. Any procedural safeguards that are our parents' rights, any part of our parents' rights, we do not charge the family for going through any part of our parents' rights, meaning that if the family has any disputes about the services that they're receiving or any complaints, if they have a complaint or a due process, we do not charge them to go through that process with them. Any service coordination activities, we will have a dedicated service coordinator to walk them through the entire process with Babies Can't Wait. That is, we do not ever charge the family a fee for that. We will bill their Medicaid if they have Medicaid, and with our and that's fee-for-service Medicaid, because the CMOs, which is AmeriGroup, WellCare, and Peach State, they have their own case coordinators, so they don't allow us to bill for that, but fee-for-service does allow our service coordinators to bill for service coordination. And also our transition planning. We will have, like I said, every IFSP, we're talking about transition services. Then we're going to notify the school system at the appropriate time, and usually that's between 24 months and 30 months. And then having that meeting or that conference with the school system or whomever the family chooses, on having a conference to meet to talk about what services are available in the community and where would the family like to continue to receive services after they have exited Babies Can't Wait. Any questions about that? Okay. Other services that may have a cost participation to it are up on the screen right here. Let me see if we go into that. Well, it's the next page, but these are the other services that we have available in the Babies Can Wait program. Funding sources for the program includes private insurance, private or public, our family cost participation, and I kind of went over that earlier, but we look at the income that's coming into the home, how many people that goes to support, then we have a family cost participation. We have a scale that will determine what is that family's cost participation. And it could be anywhere from 0 cost participation to 100%. Some families ask, well, why, if I'm 100%, why would I come to Babies Can't Wait? Well, all of our providers, all of our contract providers have agreed to charge our families the Medicaid rate. So for speech therapy, the Medicaid rate is $62.53 per session. Privately, that could be anywhere from $150 to $250 per session. So our providers, even if they're 100%, they've agreed to charge our families the Medicaid rate. If insurance covers any portion of that claim, or if insurance says, we're not going to pay the provider because that claim went towards the deductible, then the family has no cost participation. Babies Can't Wait will pay the remainder of that claim for private insurance. Babies Can't Wait is the payer of last resort, so we will go to their insurance if they give us consent. We will bill their Medicaid if they give us consent to use their personally identifiable information. And then after that, we will have a family cost participation. And then whatever that is, like I said, it could be anywhere from 0% to 100%. And then Babies Can't Wait funds are used as the payer of last resort. Any questions about that? Okay. In our program, in the Babies Can Wait program, we have a primary service provider model. And that model, a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about the model. A lot of people feel that, Babies Can Wait, you can only get one provider if you're going to go with Babies Can Wait. That's not the case. The primary service provider model is a team of professionals working together, meeting on a regular basis to discuss the services and what's needed for that individual child. The family is going to have a primary service provider, but that provider is going to have the support of the entire team. And the team typically consists of speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. They may have a family trainer, they have a service coordinator, a special instructor. Many teams have a nurse. They may have a psychologist. They may have a plethora of disciplines working with that team. And as I said, the team will look at this family and see what are the needs. If the needs is speech, more than likely the speech therapist is going to be that primary service provider. Okay, let's say that that the baby has Down syndrome and the baby is 6 months old. Right now, the family is really concerned about the baby being able to turn over or being able to use their gross motor skills. So the primary service provider may right now be the physical therapist because that's the family's primary concern. The family also has concern about the fine motor skills. So the occupational therapist may be going in to observe what's going on and then give that physical therapist some suggestions and some options of what you can do while you're doing your direct services. This is what you can do to help the child's fine motor skills. Or that family may need some more intense support, so that occupational therapist may go in once a month or once every other week. Or you know what, we may say, let's go ahead and put the physical therapist and the occupational therapist in there at the same time, going twice a week for, let's say, 8 weeks. And then we're going to phase out the occupational therapist, but we're going to keep that physical therapist as the primary. And you see, it's just so many variety of options for the family. But sometimes we're going to front load the services with that family, and then we're going to ease the others out and keep a primary person in there. Some may just have that primary person in there, and they'll get support from the other people in the home and on the team. If the family is like, you know what, I really want to talk to a speech therapist because I have some concerns with my child's speech. we'll get that speech therapist in there to talk to the family and to make sure that that family is getting the support that they need. So in other words, every family has the support of the entire team, and it just depends on the needs of the family, how often each team member will be a part of that family. Any questions about the primary service provider model? Okay, establishing the family as the focus of service. With Babies Can't Wait, we realize that the family is our primary focus, and it's not about these experts going into the home to fix the baby, but it's about Babies Can't Wait providing supports and resources to families to make sure that every opportunity during the day that that child is involved in, that there are learning opportunities. That it's not just for the speech therapy to come do her thing 1 hour a week, but for that family to learn, what can I do during breakfast time, during bath time, during bedtime, to work on those communication activities so that therapy is happening all day long through all these learning opportunities. So that's what we're trying to do, empower the family and make the family the focus and not the therapists. Any questions about that? Okay. Transition. One of the big parts of with Babies Can't Wait is ensuring that our families have a smooth transition. So as I stated that, excuse me, that I might need some water. I think I might be getting a little choke. Is some water out there? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. A transition plan can start as early as 27 months and can be as late as 33 months. But Office of Special Education Programs require that we have a transition plan complete and in place by the time the child is 33 months. So that when that child turns 36 months, that there is a smooth transition so that there are no gaps in services. That child is going to receive whatever services that they need. They have 3 options from leaving Babies Can't Wait. They have an option of going through the school system. They have an option of going through Head Start, and with Head Start receiving, supplying the services for the child. And they also, thank you, I appreciate it, thank you so much. They also have the option of receiving services privately and just going through their either private insurance or Medicaid to continue to receive those services. So the service coordinator is responsible for making sure that they know their options and that they walk them through each and every option. The family may want to go to Head Start to look at a classroom to see, is this something that I think my child could benefit from? Or they may want to go to the school system. Let me look in the classroom and see what's going on and see if this is the best fit for my child. That's what our transition plan is looking at the services, making sure that families know their options and that the families make an informed decision of where they would like for their child to continue to receive services once they exit the Babies Can't Wait program. Let me see. Okay, let me go to the next page. Families can have whomever they want to attend that transition conference. Typically, you must have at least the parent, the service coordinator, providers that have worked with the family. If the family would like to go to the school system, someone from the school system must be in attendance. If the family is not interested in the school system, then it could be someone from Head Start, or it could be just the mom and the service coordinator. It's whomever that mom or that family would like to attend that meeting to formally discuss the options and for them to then make a decision on what direction they would like to go in to continue services once the child leaves Babies Can't Wait. Like I said, the Babies Can't Wait program is from birth until 3 years old, the day before the 3rd birth date. A lot of times we have children that turn 3 during the summer months. So, and a lot of times some of the schools have a skeletal crew during the summer months. So we have decided to continue to service that child through the summer months, but it's only for service coordination. And it's only if the family is interested in continuing services with the school system. So if the baby has a birth date in the months of June, July, or August, and if the family is interested in going through the school system, Babies Can Wait can continue to work with that family. Now, the other services will end the day before the third birth date. The service coordination can continue until the end of August to ensure that there is a smooth transition, that they're available for that family, so that once that child enters the school system, we have a clean, seamless transition. And so that's what our bridging the gap, to make sure that during those summer months, that we are bridging that gap to make sure that that family has the support that they need to continue until school starts for the next school year. Any questions about anything that I talked about so far? Okay, we have 18 districts in public health, and these are our 18 districts. And so if you have a family in one of the districts, you would just call that district's Babies Can't Wait program and make your referral. And if you have any questions or any concerns or questions, this is my contact information. If you have any now, I'm open for any questions.
I'm just wondering, do we have any statistics on children coming out of Georgia Pines, through Babies Can't Wait and into this, how many actually are able to transition out of services, the time they're in elementary school? So
we are actually working on a data sharing MOU with DCAL, Department of Early Child Learning, and also DOE, so that we can start tracking that type of data, so that we can know what kind of impact Babies Can Wait is having, what kind of impact special education is having, and how we're working together. So I don't believe we have that information right now, but we're working on that to be able to have those statistics.
Yeah, it would be a strong way to sell the early intervention programs, really, in turn.
Absolutely.
Because the last time I looked, in 2010, 10% of the state of Georgia population had an IEP. That's a very high number, as far as I'm concerned. So,
that is high.
The hope would be that early intervention would enable those figures to be
Exactly.
reduced.
Exactly. We have been one of the lower states with having our numbers where other states are nationally with our enrollment. We have been working on getting 2%. 2% has been the big number for years, and this past fiscal year, we have made 2%, but now the national average is 2.8%. So now we're trying to reach that 2.8%, but yeah, that is a big, big difference.
Well, and that leads to my second question, is on child find. I mean, outside of the metro Atlanta and bigger cities, Savannah and whatnot, Macon, how aggressive are we in the outer counties and parishes in terms of really having strong child find programs and places for people to go to?
We're working very hard on our child find. It's still very unfortunate that so many people still don't know about the Babies Can Wait program, about the early intervention. So many people have never heard of the program. Legislation passed the law in 1986 for Part, and then it was Part H, but now it's Part C. Georgia began implementing Part H, Part C in 1989, so we're a little over 20 years, but we still have so many people that don't know about us. So that is our goal, is to reach, how can we reach more people when our funding has not increased, but our caseload has increased. So it's kind of like, how do we balance this, and get the word out and seek and try to find these babies and then have the services available for them. So it's not easy, but we're trying. We're working towards it. Great questions. Any other questions? Okay, I do have some other helpful websites that you can go to about other statistics, other states and what they're doing, and our own Babies Can Wait website as well. So I believe that's it for me, if there are no other questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.